All right, another week is in the books, and you're either underwhelming, you are banged up, or you are on a bye week this week, so you're in need of some guys to pick up. Charch has 5 of them, starting with Jerick McKinnon for the Vikings.
Yeah, Derrick McKinnon, the Vikings changed starting running backs last week. Surprised everybody, I think. Jerick McKinnon replaced Matt Asiata. For the game, McKinnon had triple the snap count as Asiata. Now, sadly, McKinnon didn't do a lot with those looks. He averages 3.6 yards per carry against a very tough Detroit run defense. I still think goal line usage is going to go to Asiata, though, and he could be the guy the team goes to when the surface changes to grass, which is going to happen 3 times this year. But still, I like McKinnon. I think he hangs on to the starter's job for most games most of this year, and against easier opponents, he will be startable. I would bid in free agent blind bidding maybe $15.
All right, DeMarco Murray continues to carve it up, but there's another guy in the Cowboys' backfield worth a shot.
Yeah, I guess, should we call Joseph Randle a steal, Mike?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
As he gets convicted for shoplifting. The Cowboys have vowed to cut down on DeMarco Murray's workload. It hasn't happened yet, but it's got to. DeMarco Murray's on pace for 400 touches, and that is a recipe for disaster for the oft-dinged Murray. So Randle should see more action either through injury to Murray or just a shift of carries away from Murray, which they should do beginning immediately. Randle is an elite fantasy football handcuff. We do need to check and find out exactly what the fallout's going to be of this whole shoplifting thing, but still a guy that belongs in rosters, especially if you've got Murray. Free agent blind bidding him out here is $10 if you don't have Murray. It's $20 if you do.
So really a handcuff there.
Yes, it's a handcuff for him for sure.
We saw a pulse in the Oakland offense with Carr looking pretty good. Andre Holmes was his guy.
Andre Holmes, yeah. What do you know? The Raiders have got a quarterback who can play a little bit. Derek Carr is looking like a legitimate NFL starter, and if that's the case, then I want part of his receivers. After some early season turmoil with his depth chart, the Raiders seem pretty locked in now with James Jones and Andre Holmes. Now, Jones is already owned in most leagues, but Holmes isn't. He's a free agent. Let's go get him. Blind bidding him out here. I think you go pretty aggressively on the kid. By the way, Minnesota roots for Andre Holmes.
All right.
$10.
With Stephen Ridley down, Brandon Bolden, the guy that Belichick's gone to in the past, and maybe a good pickup this week.
Yeah, Stephen Ridley's going to miss the rest of the season, sadly, with a knee injury. That opens the door for Brandon Bolden. I think Bolden's the most likely candidate to take Ridley's carries, but there's also James White in this mix as well. It's still going to be the usual Patriots timeshare, though. That really caps the value that Bolden brings to your team. I mean, think of it this way. How many of you with Stephen Ridley ever felt great about putting him in your lineup? You know, you were sweating bullets every time you hit the submit button, and he was a starter. Bolden's not as good as Ridley, so you know this really caps the upside here. I think the top end bid here for me is going to be about $10. Other people will probably bid more.
Yeah, but like you said, the Patriots drafted a running back for a reason, James White. What's the forecast on him?
James White, the Patriots rookie running back, has been inactive for most of this year, but that's going to change now that Ridley's going down. He'll be active. Now, the kid's a bowling ball. He's short. He's stout. He could be a goal line option, and maybe even more than that if it turns out he's really good. There are few running back rotations that are any more vexing than the one the Patriots have got, though. So, look, know what you're signing up for here before you count on production from any of the Patriots backs. The free agent blind bidding amount I would probably put on White is around $8.
All right, a lot of running backs to look at if you need them, but there are 13 players that Charch recommends you look for on waiver wires. The blind bidding amounts and the read on those players are all at fantasyvictory.com.